Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Secret Level Show, a podcast that we can talk about everything and anything. Mostly games.
Relating games.
Preferably games.
And maybe cake.
Games.
Oh, games.
No. Games, not gems. Gems is a different.
Gems is something completely
Games.
different.
Games are truly outrageous. That was really good.
Do you want to do the intros?
I have Lily, aka Kina Sayuri. Jayla, also known as Crumbfinger.
Hi.
And Alex, also known as True Ambience.
Good
and
evening.
Of course, your host, Andrew.
Him.
Thank you all and everybody who is watching or listening to us. We love you.
Mutual respect.
We get along just fine, you know?
Yeah,
Want to see you, don't want to hug you, sort of thing.
exactly.
See?
Yeah.
We're buddies. Let's grab a beer. But first, let's get to our
Okay.
topics. Jello, what do we have for today?
Today, I'm going to start out with the Assassin's Creed Unity launch. And more detailed, the nice microtransaction they have. Everyone in the gaming scene has heard about Assassin's Creed. And the amazing launch they did, from glitches and things not working over to microtransactions where if you want to, you can spend up to basically $100 for in-game stuff, which is
That's
a whole
lot.
new level for microtransactions. I mean, if even
Micro.
Forbes does an online article about that, yeah, you done goofed. You done goofed big time. Okay, for anyone who might actually have missed it, let me recap. Assassin's Creed Unity was launched about a week ago now, 1.5 weeks ago, something like that. And the reviews were not allowed to be published until 12 hours after the game's official launch. That's part one. There were massive technical problems, largely based around frame rate, which mostly went for the PC versions, but also the PlayStation 4 versions had a lot of reported problems. And yeah, so if you just want to look it up online, you're going to be able to find a ton of screen caps and videos of all the things that just are wrong. You can't describe it any other way. It's just wrong. And yeah. Also, it's the second major Assassin's Creed title in 1 year, which is a bit crazy and also not the best thing to do, which is why it's so unfinished in my opinion. And you can basically spend 1.5 times of the entire price of the game in in-game units transactions.
Do we actually know what most of these transactions are for? Or are these just
Not
numbers?
vanity pads, I'll tell you.
Stuff like weapons. Like, you can buy swords
Wow.
and
Okay.
can buy story maps and all like additional content. Essentially, it's additional content. You can't just unlock it by playing it. You have to buy it. You know.
So
Oh,
this is
you-
taking
is-
the...
You forgot to mention that also items that you can buy or upgrades, you can buy them with actual money.
Oh, even
Yeah.
upgrades as well.
Yeah, there's also upgrades.
This feels like taking the pre-order bonuses to like the next level.
Yeah.
Like instead of just doing
Not
it... at-
pre-order because you can get it even after.
But it's the same type of things where you get those little upgrades and such for that little bit
Yeah,
more
but
money.
usually those don't just make you OP level 1 because fuck it, let's kill the prince with one hit.
Yep.
Pretty
This is
much.
taking it to the next level and doing it in-game constantly.
Yeah.
And in single
Another
player.
God. And it's single player. Yeah.
Another big thing that was criticized is that, apart from the technical problems, which was the most referred to issue, that compared to Black Flag, it was outright boring again. Like Black Flag was really new and exciting from the Assassin's Creed titles.
Because pirates.
No, not just pirates, but whole new concepts and stuff. And now it goes back to the typical old jump roofs, listen to people, kill people, rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And that's plain boring. That's the main reason why Assassin's Creed is no fun to me to play. Because it's the same thing.
You play one game and all the rest sound similar.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
Well,
So what do you guys think about the tech issues?
Oh, the tech issues. You know what you haven't mentioned? You mentioned that PC and PlayStation 4 have frame rate issues in mostly.
It works best on
But-
Xbox One,
Exactly.
quotes, but yeah,
Conspiracy
still not
confirmed.
good.
Conspiracy.
Ubisoft is in quotes cahoots
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Xbox.
The Xbox, Microsoft.
So yeah, what do
Microsoft.
you think about that?
They rushed the game. That's
Pretty much, I think, because they're doing that. Is it yearly? They're releasing Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah,
Not
and that was the
just, you know.
second this year.
Yeah, that's actually scary.
well, and their idea. Unity is the only new game. Rogue is like a DLC with the same engine, same sort of ideas, just like well, let's add a little bit of an extra story to it and get $60 for it. 'Cause
Yeah.
money.
Yeah,
that
it's a
easy.
money mill, which is kind of sad. Really.
I can't really talk about it because I'm not a big fan of the series in general.
Assassin's
so-
Creed, really.
Yeah, not a
Really?
fan. Sorry. I'm
Is
sorry.
it because of these reasons, or is it because of something else?
Why haven't you
no,
played it?
I just I've only played one game and I haven't really enjoyed it, but
Which one?
I don't remember.
The first
I think
one?
it was. I think it
She
was
suppressed the
second.
memory. It was so horrendous. She
Hey,
suppressed
I've only
the
played the
memory.
first one, and I actually own Black Flag. I just don't want to. I should really play Black Flag just because that is apparently the best one in the series.
Okay.
But yeah, it's one thing that Ubisoft have been trying to do is they keep on pushing the game over and over and again, which is causing this. It's hurting the game itself because we're always going to see the same thing because they can't push anything. Because if they're doing it every year, how much more can they add to a game?
Sometimes, at some point, you're just gonna run out of context.
Yeah,
Content.
sometimes, yeah.
And
Context.
context.
It's not about.
Well, at some point, you're gonna have milled out all the assassin stories in all of history.
Yeah.
Like you can't draw out more.
No. At that point, you go to Call of Duty and you say, well, there's no more history. Let's make history. Assassin's Creed with jetpacks and lasers.
Dude, this is what we need. Future Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
Or like
cyberpunk Assassin's Creed.
That
We
sounds
joke
great.
about that now, but that might actually happen.
No, it will, probably will happen.
Called it. I want to share the money.
And that's like one of the theories I heard that they want to make their own like Call of Duty series. Like every year, let's push something new out, and people are just gonna be like, "Wow, I gotta have the new Assassin's Creed each year." The problem is, it's not as average as like a shooter. Because on a shooter, well, you give new perks, you give new guns, put a little bit of reach extra, and you got a new game. Assassin's Creed, well,
That's a
you
lot.
done good there because you focused on the story, and then you neglected everything else. Which leads to ba-da-ba-bum problems. Because, like, I mean, first of all, like, PC specs problems like that could happen. People don't have the best PCs in the world. I get it. They move forward. Some people still have their old, like, horizontal computers. If people remember that. God, those are old. But, like, if you make it for a console and it's not optimized, you just... I don't know what you're doing. You made a monkey type on a computer and you're just hoping it came out right. Like
Nice metaphor.
It's exactly the same for everybody. If it works for your PlayStation 4, it's gonna work for everybody else. Except if it's like dust. Then I don't think it's gonna work. How do you mess up that bad?
There's lots of ways you can mess up, especially with different consoles and switching it to PC, where we find bugs galore in some cases.
Oh, I'm not talking about bugs.
Okay.
I'm talking about like frame rate issues. Like
Well, frame
optimization.
rate is just either they've capped it, which is one of the reoccurring things at the moment. Reoccurring.
I now remember they said they want to cap it at 30 frames per second because it's cinematic views.
Cinematic, yeah, that's the word they like using.
Yeah.
To make it more theatrical, I think the word is as well. Theatrical. To make it more interesting, more actiony.
No,
because
more better, right? Better
more
to look at.
better.
More better.
More
better.
better to look at.
More better. More
Because it
English
actually
is great.
Good
Okay.
English is good.
it sharpens all the action because as you're skipping half as many frames from 60 to 30, you're making jumps quicker, meaning everything's a lot sharper, and that's how they're trying to explain it. But if you can push it to 60, let people put it to 60. It's like
It's
the
a
engine
personal
can
preference
handle it.
thing.
We know it can handle it, but just don't want to allow it in most cases.
It takes too much time. You can't put out a yearly game if you're gonna make it to 60 frames per second. That's a cheap shot at Ubisoft, and I'm gonna make it all day because they've done
Ubisoft are probably the biggest. What's the word?
The new
Effectors
EA.
of this, yeah. Or EA. EA
new
do this
way.
as well.
People have called it in like business magazines or whatever. They called it like the new EA.
The new EA.
The new EA.
Yeah.
EA had its problems, and somehow it's starting to come back a little bit. Like first of all, Dragon Age Inquisition. My God.
I might discuss that later.
Yeah. Later on the show, stay tuned. Dragon Age Inquisition. Messages. Okay. Okay. So first of all, we talked about optimization bugs. There were big number. Like people falling from the ground, faces messed up. I know. I think at one point, like buildings started to look like I don't. No. I was thinking of something else. The fact that building, like you look in the distance, and they would just pop in. Like buildings, just exactly. The next gen popping in buildings.
It's magic.
Exactly.
Popping textures is a big issue on most games.
Or the fact that they wanted like so many NPCs on the streets, they made it. I think this bug has been mostly not a bug, but just like some kind of little error on their way of coding. Like in the distance, you would see like a man with a top hat, yellowish clothes, whatever. You go closer, it's a woman. It just turned into a woman, just like that. Gender change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Magic.
that's
It's
down to the
magic.
engine used. I can't remember which one has that the most. I think it's Frostbite that does that a lot.
I don't think it could have used Frostbite first of all,
Or
because it's specific to EA.
or EA, yeah, or Ubisoft's one, which I can't remember the name of.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but yeah, there is
that one.
issues where they have the flat texture and then they put another texture on the top, and sometimes you see the difference in when it overlaps, which is usually what the popping is.
Yeah.
But I'm not a technical genius. I can't tell you how they could fix that, unfortunately. But yeah, that is definitely.
If we fix it for them now, we're gonna have to expect like a paycheck soon.
Oh yeah. We got where it's our underlying secrets. We won't tell for a price.
You've got my stuff.
Yeah, and my paycheck for the Cyberpunk Assassin's Creed is gonna follow right after, right?
We can hope.
I still like not Cyberpunk, like just genuine like futuristic Assassin's Creed.
Well, steampunk would fit very well though.
That's kind of like a
The whole
DLC.
concept, yeah.
Why?
Why?
Well, I don't
Why
know.
not?
Because it combines stuff from the Middle Ages with new technology.
But it's the idea of thinking outside the box, like Black Flag did. Pirates, an assassin pirate.
Because that's outside.
Basically, we're saying Ubisoft should mix it up. Instead of just doing normal assassins, do assassins plus ninjas or assassins plus pirates.
They show that people wanted to see the The one in China or whatever. The assassin from China.
Oh, Assassins in China.
Or
That would be
Japanese,
good.
whatever.
Or Japanese.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But then you can't have your typical white standard
Oh
protagonist because that is not gonna work.
Whatever will we do? What has this world come to?
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised they pulled it off, considering they were doing it in Budapest. Was it Budapest? The first Assassin's Creed, but that's not
First
really.
Assassin's Creed was in and around Istanbul.
Is it Istanbul? Yeah, Istanbul.
Yeah.
In that area, because that's Middle East. You can't really have-
Anatolia.
yeah. That's not a very Caucasian color background in that area.
Well, why do you think he has that?
Yeah, they're just hiding the see. Yeah, so they can do it in Japan or China. Just throw a hood on him, bam, done.
Done.
What's next? African assassin.
African assassin.
Yes, please.
Oh,
Come
no.
on.
The problem is you don't have a lot of stuff to jump from. It's just like a plain safari. The
Wow. Wow. Stereotype cliche much?
We're talking about the.
There's a lot of safaris in Africa.
Africa's big, so
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not just talking about one of the countries. We're talking about the whole continent.
I
And
was gonna
there's
say-
a lot of
Assassins in
cultures and areas to draw from.
Egypt.
Egypt.
Okay. Or you could do Brazil. Rio
You know what I'm talking
de
about.
Janeiro. There we go. Yeah, that's a nice place. Lots of buildings to jump over. Bam.
Okay.
But yeah, we're digressing on that one, I think.
Okay. So that's about it for the optimization, because like there's a whole lot to talk about, but if we're gonna nitpick at everything, we're just gonna waste.
Yeah,
time.
we're gonna sit here for a very long time.
And the one obvious thing we haven't talked about, in-game currency. Well,
It's
that
bad.
doesn't
No?
that doesn't deserve a mention. Like, it's just plain stupid. Don't do that, Ubisoft. Don't do that.
Buying in-game currency is worse than
In a single-player game, god damn it.
Yeah.
Let's
Although-
move on.
okay.
Yeah, just
We're
go.
actually never mention of this
Should-
again.
Should I go now, or do we have something left?
Yeah.
Say.
No.
Why not?
Okay.
No, go
Because
for it,
I'm-
sweetie.
Very, 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 very excited about this. Have you guys played Borderlands?
Yes.
Ah, yeah.
Borderlands, that game where you shoot stuff. And, like,
You
loot.
get stuff.
Yeah.
You kill
Okay.
stuff.
Have you
jump
guys
stuff.
played? Different question. Have you guys played The Walking Dead from
Oh,
Telltale?
yeah.
No.
Games?
I haven't, but I've been
I've
paying
s-
attention to it.
I've seen walkthroughs of it because I don't
Yeah.
have a console.
Yeah.
We don't have the currency to buy it.
I
Yeah.
don't. Ubisoft doesn't want to sell me
You
Telltale's
You
currency.
should really play that because it's very good, especially if you enjoy the series, the TV series. It's very, very great. And now they actually cooperated. Like Telltale Games together with Gearbox are making a similar, like The Walking Dead, similar to The Walking Dead, but placed in Pandora and placed on with Hyperion and everything. And you play two characters. One guy's called, let me see, Riz, and a girl, Fiona. And yeah, well, if you're familiar with the concept, you get choices throughout the game. For example, in The Walking Dead, it was you get to choose: do you go with a girl together with a girl at night or at day, and that will like change the story a little bit. And all your decisions affect the game in tiny little ways. Sometimes
okay.
not much, sometimes very big. You can decide if you want to hack the foot of a man or if you just leave him there, get eaten by zombies and stuff like that. That's decisions you have to make when playing this game. And now they combine this concept with a with a Borderlands setting, and I'm so excited about this game. Really, really excited because it has all the Borderlands humor, and the trailer is very promising. And Handsome Jack apparently is back, although it's supposed to play after Borderlands 2. I don't want to spoiler you if you haven't played through it, but Handsome Jack's not around anymore, or so I thought. But maybe
So we all thought. Dun dun
So
dun
we all
dun.
But I'm very, very excited about it. And in the trailer, you can see Zero, which is one of the characters of Borderlands 2. Like the main character that you can play later says, like, "You're really cool" to Zero. So he might appear. And the first episode is called Zero Sum. No idea what that's about. And now for which is very, very exciting, tomorrow night at 2 p.m. Let me check again. At 2 a.m. UTC, so it's very early in the morning, or very late, as you wish. It's 8 p.m. CST, but it's 2 a.m. UTC. They will stream the first show, the first episode, live on Nerdist.com, and it will happen in the theater. Let me see.
Wait, the whole episode?
I think so. I'm not
Really?
very sure about that, but it's very exciting, and it will happen in the Alamo Draft House DFW.
So they're gonna stream the actual game before the actual game comes
No,
out?
the first episode. With The Walking Dead, it was also broken up into episodes. You had, I think, 5 episodes, and each episode started sometimes right after you stopped, and sometimes there was a little time in between. But your decisions from the first episode still affected. Thank you. That didn't sound right. Affected your choices in the second episode.
They infected like a virus.
Yeah, exactly. And apparently, and there's a very, very funny Twitter conversation from Telltale Games with Gearbox Software, if you guys want to check it out. And it's pretty funny because they're talking like the first message is, "So hey, Gearbox Software, what you doing?" And then they're like going on about meeting and where would they meet and if that they would get drunk together, and it's pretty funny. And then in the end, the theater, the Alamo Draft House, jumps in like, "Hey guys, sorry we were late. What did we miss?" And I thought it was very funny and very Borderlandish. And if you want to watch it, I think Nerdist will have. Yeah, I'm talking like a storm. It will probably be on Nerdist, even if you haven't seen it. I think they have like a video section where you can watch them after they've been shown, so you won't miss it. I think, even if you want to watch it later. I'm very, very excited about this game.
You definitely sound it, yeah.
It doesn't come across at all. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I love Borderlands. I love the Borderlands
Me too.
humor. It's so great.
I don't think I heard. Did you say when it's coming out?
No, I don't actually know. I think
They didn't mention it, or like
I have seen that. I only have seen the well, it's premiering tomorrow, so it might come out tomorrow. On the Nerdist page, you have like a picture premiering live on Twitch, so I'm guessing that it might actually come out tomorrow. I don't have money yet, so I might be a while till I can play it. But I'm very, very excited because I loved playing The Walking Dead. I cried playing The Walking Dead because it felt so wrong to make making some of these decisions, being pushed into this deciding
The multiple
some-
choice is always
some
good, yeah.
stuff. But yeah, mixed with the Borderlands humor. Oh
That
yeah.
is basically perfect.
So we can ask about. We can ask you how you liked it.
I think Lily sent like a Christmas letter to Santa Claus. Like, I want something like Borderlands, but I also love Walking Dead series. Can you make it happen.
No, I really like point and click adventures, but they can get kind of boring, like combining stuff and everything. And Telltale Games, they took it to the next level with the decisions that actually affect the game.
And the gore.
Well, that's not
Very important. Very
important
important.
mention.
But point and click adventures, they're very linear. You have to get to this point, you have to do this, and you get there. And Telltale Games takes the concept and puts in decisions that affect your game, that affect the whole story. And oh, I love it.
We can tell. I'm not sure if the other are like sure, but I can tell you're really into this game. I remember when I was that hyped about a game.
Was that a long time ago?
Back when I had money to actually buy it when it came out.
Yeah, I haven't been able to buy the pre-sequel yet. So,
Same.
I will.
Damn.
I am very sad about that too. But
Many moons
Yeah,
ago.
Well, you
we
know what
kind
to
of
buy her.
have to buy that together because
Yeah,
I want
we
someone
do.
to play that with. Because
But
oh my
I-
gosh, new Borderlands
I
game.
want some
I
of that.
played Borderlands 2. I still play Borderlands 2 sometimes because I love
Borderlands.
it.
Borderlands.
Like, no explanation, just Borderlands.
Yeah. So
I mean, Borderlands is just. It's not just a shooter. It's a funny shooter.
no, it's not. It's,
Yeah, it's
It's,
And what makes
Can't really
Borderlands
laugh.
so good is it's the story. It wasn't so much in the first Borderlands. It wasn't the story in the first Borderlands wasn't that good because I think they just had
Wait.
more the concept and not really
First
story.
one.
it had a story.
I thought you just
Yeah,
shot stuff.
kind of.
I
Yeah,
There was-
did
there was
have
a minor
little bit of
story.
It,
The
it
story
I was
had
was
going
go
around
and shoot
shooting
stuff.
stuff. Yeah,
but
like.
well, you had Angel already. You had Angel, and she led you to the vault. So it was this. It was a kind of a story. But Borderlands 2, I think, they made it very smart that they explained some of the story that wasn't in the first Borderlands. That wasn't really story, but the second made that into story. Do you know what I mean? Like.
yes.
The second created a story that might not
Wait,
have been
ambience is thinking.
intended in the first
I'm thinking
one.
about it. It's a hard question.
Do you get
No,
it?
no, I definitely understand because with the second, with everything that is Angel and is happening around Angel,
Exactly.
that is what really puts a story into the first Borderlands. Because now there's a context to why things are happening, how they're happening. The first one is basically your step into the world of Borderlands and getting to know everything. The second one is taking you deeper into the story and into who is moving what, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically it caused a foundation. That's what it was. Borderlands 1 was the foundation for Borderlands 2,
Yeah.
which
yeah.
actually had a proper story where you interacted with the characters. And if you did play
Yeah,
one,
but
you saw
in-
characters in it. So
What I don't know if you played. I don't want to spoiler because it's so great. But in Borderlands,
Well, it is quite a bit older and it's been in
I mean-
several Steam sales, so you should have
No,
grabbed
I'm
it by
talking-
now.
mainly to Alex. But in Borderlands 2, the story is that a handsome Jack apparently has controlled the first Vault Hunter. Like in Borderlands 1, you played a Vault Hunter, and you followed what Angel said, and it's handsome Jack who controlled Angel. So actually, the second created the story for the first. That wasn't really there. That's what I meant. Like-
basically, it's backstory. Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that was very smart because I thought like Borderlands really didn't have much story, but they turned it around somehow. Yeah,
Which
I
is
really
really
love the
neat
series,
trick.
and
So we
I
should
am
see some
so
of this
excited.
So we should see some of this now in the Telltale game. As you said, it's
Hopefully.
following after Borderlands 2. Did you say?
It's in the video. Yeah, in the I can post a link to the video. It's very funny. You should all watch it.
But after
Um,
we're done here,
Yeah, after
Yeah.
we're done. Or maybe
Everyone
in the
stops
break.
talking to
We
watch
will
it.
have break, so you can watch it in the break.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it in the beginning, Handsome Jack actually explains when this will take place. But I'm a
Spoiler alert.
little confused because, yeah, as I said, Handsome Jack isn't around anymore. So,
Dun, dun,
Apparently.
dun.
but you see a hologram of him, I think. It's very well. Yeah, I'm excited.
at least you're the one being
I've
overly
even-
excited
I've
this
even-
time compared to last time,
I'm
be it
even
being me.
thinking about going to bed early tomorrow and getting up at 3 just to see the first episode streaming. It's too.
Because
That's if you don't want to have spoilers when you play it. That's
Well-
if it's like a Telltale game, they don't have spoilers because God knows where you want to go with the story.
Exactly.
true.
This looks moral. This looks funny. Guess what I'm
Yeah.
gonna pick?
Yeah, exactly. That might. Yeah.
And you
That
got two more
might
options
be the
besides
way
that.
That might be the way that it's going. But if you go to the Nerdist page, there's a picture like with a few choices of dialogue that's already spoiled.
Hmm.
So that's the two main characters there, and they're talking, and I don't know who's talking to whom there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think she's talking to him because he's the one with the mechanical arm, and
Yeah.
you have the choice to ask what happened to your arm.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's just my 2 cents.
So you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Well,
Cool.
So do we get to talk about it, or do you still?
what?
Are you
No, we don't-
done presenting it, or can we
It's
discuss it?
not we go to the next topic straight away.
No discussions about it. It's perfect. Bye.
Yeah.
It's perfect as it is presented. Let's move on.
Look out for it. You don't have to buy it if you don't have money.
What-
You can watch the first
Guys-
episode about it.
Yes, that you can do.
Yeah. Mm.
And the links are in the chat. Yes,
Or
yeah.
the description if you're listening to us.
Or description. Oh, look at this.
SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Thank you.
Well, Andrew's going to have to make sure he remembers that, but should be like,
Okay, so just so everyone
I'm gonna
has
note it
the time again, 2 a.m. UTC tomorrow night.
I can wake you if
Nerdist.com.
you want to, because with how I've been working the past days, I'm gonna be awake anyway.
No, I don't know yet. I might watch it as a video later, but I'm pretty hyped, so I might even
Hype.
not be able to sleep. So we'll see.
Hype. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? How does that sound to you? The game, the concept.
well, it's Telltale who've made 2 good point-and-click games we've seen so far. They
yeah, Wolf Among
did
Us.
The Walking Dead, and they also did... I've forgotten what it's called. The one with the wolf...
The Wolf Among Us.
Wolf.
Among
Yes,
Us?
thank you. Wolf Among Us.
You
Yeah.
said
So
it
they
like
made
3
2.
times, but
Yeah, Wolf Among Us. Yeah, so that was close. But yeah, they made 2 really good point and clicks that everyone's given good reviews about, and I imagine this is going to be the same. It's from a good company. It's about a good game that we already know about. So I imagine everything's going to be okay. 10 out of 10. IGN,
like,
best game ever.
it
Yeah,
depends
10 out of
because
10. So, like,
you might be like me and you're going to Borderlands just because you want to kill and shoot at stuff because it's fun.
Yeah, that's a
And you're
different.
like, there's a
direction.
story to it. Handsome Jack. Oh, the guy that killed. What? Lily, I know you don't like me that much. You're gonna kill me later. Let's wait until we finish the show. So what we're saying, like Borderlands for me is just like, you know,
Run around and shoot stuff. Get loot. Yeah.
get unwind. You know, shoot some stuff, relax, listen to a Rust Bucket talk about stuff. Go there, kill dad, have fun, that kind of stuff.
It
And
is a
then you're
different
like,
demographic, yeah.
yeah, it's going. Maybe I don't know.
But
Like,
there's so many gimmicks in Borderlands. You have to explore everything to get all the gimmicks.
you find them, you laugh, you move on.
The
Yes.
big difference I think we're going to notice is obviously this is going to be multiplayer, I guess.
Multiplayer?
I hope so.
I can't see a point and click being multiplayer, I guess.
No,
That's-
it's
that'd be-
not.
It's
It's
how
not
can it?
multiplayer. No,
Yeah.
Let's have a
definitely
raid.
not.
Like point and
It's
click.
single
All right,
player.
that is
Great,
that
it's
is
gonna be
too
so
story
good, guys.
driven. But what I have to say, what I really like is how they're continuing the Borderlands, like the complete
Franchise.
package, and instead of just going Assassin's Creed and just milling it out how hard they can, they actually bring a different thing to the whole world with that, to how you can experience the game.
Sure.
It's not just go in, play as 4-player co-op, kill the bad guy, get the vault done. Now you actually get to have a whole different experience in the same universe with the characters that you already know, or about the characters that you already know, which is a lot better than just trying to do the same game, or like to find a variation of the game that worked so well to try to make it work again. That's not what they're doing. They're making something completely new, which is so good and so exciting also. Because it's not just another game which is the same from the mechanics and what you have to do, but it's more. And that is something that I'm really, really happy and excited about.
We'll just have to see how it comes out.
I think everyone's going to be hyped, as Lily has expressed quite a lot.
Well, if you put a hardcore fan into the mix, well, everything's gonna be hype. So, moving on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Next topic. What do we have next?
I believe it's yours, Andrew.
Oh yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh.
My hype.
Someone else is going to get hyped. Oh gosh.
From one hype
Okay.
to the next.
Before,
From
guys.
Cross
one
to the
hype to
cross.
the next.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, that would be a good point. Before we get to your hype, that we do a little 2-minute break, 5-minute break.
Yeah, okay. That
You're
sounds
listening
amazing.
to
So,
you're listening to the Secret Level show. Tune in 5 minutes.
thanks guys for
We'll be
listening
back.
so far.
And we're back.
Hello!
Thank you
There
for
we go.
waiting. Do a little dance.
All the
Do a
dancing.
little
We,
break
we
dance.
discussed our deepest plans to take over the world.
Um,
Discuss them later at a
I
different
think
time.
we voted on not telling them what they are.
Oh, crap, yeah. None of you heard any of that.
You might want to become an initiate if you don't want to die. Link
That's
the
true.
contract to your soul down below.
The contract will be delivered to you within 3 days.
A demon will come and see you momentarily.
See you
Please
shortly.
Please hold.
Discussing demons and stuff. What was the discussion we had?
Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh,
Going from demons to dragons.
well, there's demons in it as well, but
I don't think we're gonna send dragons. They're too expensive.
yeah, they're pretty expensive. Demons, they're easy.
They work by, cents. And, succubus will work for different stuff. Back to the topic. Dragon Age Inquisition. Nominated for the Game of the Year. Dragon Age
Already?
Inquisition coming from the franchise of Dragon Age. Coming from EA.
Oh yes, BioWare.
BioWare. EA coming back in force with Dragon Age Inquisition again. Have any of you actually played the previous games? Ambience, I know you played even Inquisition, so shut
I
up.
played all of them.
Shut up. Shut up.
I tried out the first one back when it was released.
You mean
But
Origins or Awakening?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's already been a while. That's what,
That's a
4
long time.
years? 5 years at least?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Uh,
So I played that very intensively for about a month. And then I got incredibly bored and annoyed.
Yeah.
The one thing that I remember the most that you could travel nowhere without being interrupted.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that was so
funny, the little,
incredibly tedious.
How else do you get money?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's essentially what made me stop playing the game. That is
Yeah.
literally what made me stop playing the game, because it got so annoying to me that I couldn't get anywhere with that, just get somewhere. I don't mind any quests and fights that go along with the story, that like, okay, you have to fight your way through a dungeon or through a city or whatever, right? Or you have to escape and fight your way free, but having to do that every time I even like jump minor points on the map, that's just no.
Yeah, the interruption was probably the least interesting thing about that one. But yeah,
Well, like at one point you would get powerful enough that you're just like, yeah, it's a little bit more money. Let's do this. Depending on what area you were in.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think the
but
problem was you were
that was-
trying to get somewhere in the first place, and someone's slowing you down from getting where you wanted to be in the first place.
They should have just added a auto battle button.
Although it kind of reminds me of good old Final Fantasy games where you're just walking through an area and then yeah, or
You mean
walking through,
Pokemon.
or you're a Pokemon and you're walking through the grass. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got that type of feel to it.
Yeah, except in Pokemon you didn't have just the one battle.
But
But yeah, whatever, same stuff. Lily, have you played Dragon Age?
Dragon Age Origins, yes.
Did you like it?
do you
I
remember?
spent most of the time caring for the relationships between my cast. So
Shall I
I don't
bet
know if that's
this
a
maiden-
girlish way of playing it, but I got very confused when I could just sleep with everyone and they would get like crazy jealous at each other.
Yeah, that's
And
I
it
would
was
like
good old days.
I got confused and I stopped caring for the relationships. I like the story too, but I that's what I remember most about this game, that I like was trying to get them the gifts they liked, and I thought that was something very nice to the whole story, and that the characters would react differently whether they like you or they're in your party and don't really like you, and that the dialogue is changed by that. I think that was very complex. Complex?
Yeah.
Is that
Complex.
the same word in English?
Yeah, you
Okay.
just emphasize the first it's complex.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. It's one of the
Okay.
big things Dragon Age games do. The discussions, both with individual players and in your party themselves, when you're walking
Yeah.
about, is probably the best thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About
One of
it.
the main
And
things.
who you're taking with you, and
Yeah.
if that person is in your party and he disagrees with you handling the situation, they don't like you that much anymore and stuff like that. I thought that was very, very nice.
It did have an
yeah.
emotional impact on you, whether, damn it, I bet at her, why does she not like me?
Is it about
Honestly,
my
one of
personality?
my
Is it
favorite
my hair?
things.
Did I do something wrong? It was my first time, I get it, but still.
Telling me Liliana. What?
Lily-
Anyway.
Yeah, one of the things that I really loved about it, because I just love general like banter and stuff like that, is the relationship between Morrigan and Alistair.
Oh.
That was
Oh.
The best thing about the game. Just Morrigan herself, but Morrigan and Alistair was like the cherry on top. That was so
Yeah.
much
Can we just make a
fun
point?
to
Morrigan's probably
watch.
best character BioWare have made as a person, because she's just a great character. I like her. She's number one.
Morrigan is amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone should play Origins just because
They've-
she's in the game.
They've added so much. Like they focused on Morgan. And her lines had so much deepness, so much content compared. Like the others, like had like one-liners and whatnot. She had like goddamn lore.
There was depth.
She had lore in her dialogue. How much do you want to put into
If you
one
followed
character?
her story as well, it was probably it was great.
Yeah, and
with
like
her
the
mother
interaction
touch.
between the two of them, hate, love. I don't know.
Yeah.
So Andrew,
I
did
also
you
remember
say-
one. Yeah, you
Huh?
Andrew played it because we've been talking that we've played it. Andrew, have you played?
Oh, have I played it?
I'm gonna say that's
No,
a yes.
Like What I didn't actually play when it came out. Like I waited about half a year to a year, and then I played it. But back then, like reviews and such weren't the hype in the industry. So, like I knew about the game. They say like, oh, it's good. It's like really in-depth character personalizations. The interactions are really real. The way that they work with it is amazing, and you know the story is also really good. So I was like, well, that's like 2 out of 3 things I'm looking in a game. I might as well check it. And it actually was, surprisingly enough. Like, the combat wasn't great. The environment was average. Encounters, like, freaking pissed me off. But the goddamn story was beautiful. It had great lore for a starting franchise. It had characters that, like, looked like they were built before. Not like, well, here's a clean slate. You're gonna make it while you go along.
Yeah.
And it was interesting.
Yeah.
You
The
wanted
first
to
one-
find out what happened, like what's and how do you impact that part? Because obviously you're the main character. How can you not?
You are, what is it? The Grey Warden, yeah.
You
If anyone wants
became
to...
Grey Warden.
Yeah. Actually, we should probably
You were-
tell everyone what the game's about.
Spoilers. Well, by this time, if you haven't checked it out, there was like a week when you could get Dragon Age Origins for free from Origin because you were logging in, and Bejeweled 3. My God, that game.
Just to say, it is 5 years old, so it's been a while. So yeah.
And like
yeah,
when,
so you get a spoiler alert, but that's
when
all.
EA throws a game for free, you know it's old. Really old. So spoiler, Darkspawn, which is basically like the bad characters, like they corrupt everything, yada yada. You get touched, you die, or you get turned into Darkspawn. Basically, you're about to die, and the only known cure is to become a Grey Warden because they have the power to fight Darkspawn. And so, in order to save yourself, you go under the ritual and you become a Grey Warden. And here's the plot: you try to save what was it, Ferelden?
Ferelden.
You're in Ferelden, and you're trying to save people as a Grey Warden from Darkspawn, and also helping the future king. Spoilers from Dragon Age 2, but that's at the ending of Dragon Age 1.
Yeah.
Alistar becomes the king. Boo-hoo. Go freaking play it. And, you know, in between fights, amazing story, character interaction. Like, the main thing about Dragon Age Origins is you're not alone. You have your main character that always has to be in your party, and then you can have from one... No, I think you could... I'm not sure in the first one if you could go alone, or if you needed to have a full party at all time. That I don't
think
remember.
you only could have.
I might have to try that at some point.
Yeah, because I know in Dragon Age 2, at one point, I could do this on 2 people. Why? They all get the same experience.
I think you didn't have another option.
I know you can change them.
Yeah, you can switch them, but there's no. I don't think there was an option to leave a space open.
Yeah. So basically, you were until you had the full party, you would have only you, then 2 people, then 3 people, then 4 people, and from there on, you had a party of 4, and each one of them was like your main character. It had skills, it had skill points, skill lines, skill trees, sorcerer, Templar, whatever, and you could, how do you say it? They're like your own puppets, all of them. You can make them do whatever you want. And another important thing that they added: in-game pause, combat.
Oh yes, the combat was different. Yeah.
Combat pause, whatever it's called. You could stop time, and you can give commands to each one of them to do in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't done.
Yeah.
In before it actually worked.
Well, it had in certain games.
Not. Yeah.
Because Origins followed, what was it? I believe it was Baldur's Gate was what it was kind of taking essence from, which is quite an old game if anyone looks it up. But yeah, the tactical thing was one of the big interests people had in the game, I think, where you could be very tactical about what happens and have an overview of the battlefield in general. But yeah, that was definitely a good game that I leaked.
And that's the thing about all the new games like Dragon Age Awakening, Dragon Age 2, and now Dragon Age Inquisition, I don't want to say a whole lot because I haven't played it. Shut up, ambience. They're bringing it towards it. Like, you have this amazing story. They keep on going with it. Maybe a different character, the premise is about the same. There's Darkspawn that you can fight. There's inner city problems. There's country-wise problems. And you're somehow related to them. And you have an impact on them. And that's how they made it in Dragon Age Inquisition. They brought the amazing story. They're gonna have to help me with this because like you're basically like bringing from Dragon Age 2.
You're bringing both of them pretty much.
Yeah.
They're bringing the combat from both of the games. We talked about Dragon Age Origins. We did actually talk about Dragon Age 2, the one in between.
Like the combat became a little bit better, more higher quality, and
the combat changed very drastically in comparison to those two. Because as we had in Origins, we discussed they had a tactical pause type of system. Dragon Age 2 switched it to a very much button smashing. I think it was pretty much where
you can still do it. It's like we're talking what's more optimal.
Yeah.
You can still do the tactical pause.
And what Inquisition does is it mixes both of them together with tactical view and button mashing for a more personal experience. So you can switch between the two constantly on the fly. So you can be hacking someone in personal range right in front of you, hack and slash, and then you pause time, zoom out, and tell everyone else to go and flank someone on the side, which is really nice combination of the two types of combat.
Especially if you have like a bonus from flanking.
Yeah, flanking is always a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
And you can always do ambush attacks and stuff like that, which is always fun to do. But yeah.
Well, the big thing that they made in Dragon Age Inquisition is the open world.
Yes.
Okay.
Like all the other games had like a linear map. You can go on one point. There's like little areas besides it. You know there's going to be something in there. You go check it out. And now it's open world.
Very much.
This is where the fun begins. It took a lot of time to do all the quests, all the areas explored and whatnot, with the linear, not open world map. And now they did this. I'm like,
it's insane.
if you have a life, well, tough luck.
Yeah.
Give me a week and you might finish half
But how
of it.
does the combat work then if it's open world? When you run across an enemy, does the game pause and you make tactical
it's
decisions?
all
No,
live.
you control the pause. Is that why you're confused? Because
No, I know about the pauses. I was just wondering about combat in
Yeah,
an
you
open
discover
world
them as
when
you're
it's
running
still
around.
It's still kind of round based, no?
No. When you're running around the world, you will actually see the enemies, and if they spot you, they will come and attack you, or you can attack them first.
Okay.
You don't have to pause the game. You can actually play the entire game without actually doing any of the stop time thing. You can literally just go all button mash, killing stuff if you want to. The tactical thing's only there to assist you, pretty much.
Okay.
But I like the tactical stuff.
Yeah, the
That's
tactical's
why I win
fun.
my game.
Especially if you're doing the harder one, but yeah. Focusing on what you said about the open world, it's quite large. The
I've
first
seen the maps.
area that you go to, which is called the hinterlands, which is a lovely mountainous area with trees and there's rams running around, which is really nice. And there's little rabbits and stuff hopping around. And then you can shoot them with electricity.
Do they explode?
They explode, yeah.
Ah,
It's great. It's great.
That's good.
It's great. But yeah, this huge map, which I've been to this area, I've explored it, but I still haven't explored the entirety of the map. It's just so big that you actually
the
have
first
to. Yeah, this is still the first map. You have to actually go back to it after you've done other areas. It's that big. But yeah, open world, I can agree, is definitely the step forward for this game. It's great.
And
Okay.
another addition to it was the Inquisition. As in, if you guys know from Assassin's Creed, Lily, I'm sorry if you haven't actually played.
I'm not
It's
sorry.
when you can give, like you will become a quest giver. Certain quests will come your way, and you as the leader of the Inquisition, you could say you and your troops can go and do that, go and help that person. And if I remember correctly, because I have seen a little bit of a gameplay, each person that you give the quest can go about it differently. Some say like there's natives who are missing. Some say we can go and help them. We can make peace with the people there so they can come back. Whatever. So each one of them could get different bonuses or get different results, and you can choose that and give them the mission to go and do it across the whole map for Olden and
Ole.
Ole. Yeah.
Ole.
Ole.
It's- Yeah, they've actually expanded it to 2 different actual, I guess you call countries for
And
Elden.
it's not even the whole map of the actual
yeah.
Dragon Age world.
Yeah.
The
It's
question-
just these 2 countries. Yes.
Those
yeah.
quests, can they also fail? Like when you
Yes.
send like a newbie and stuff like that? That's
Yes.
awesome.
Or if you send the wrong person.
If you send the wrong person, yeah. Because I'll give you a lowdown for it. You have 3 advisors who will give you options for these kind of side missions which your army can do for you. And each one has a different type of aspect to it. One's a political leader, an ambassador. One's a spy master, and the other one is the knight commander. And you can ask either one to do these different types of objectives for you. And each one will have a different way of doing it,
Obviously.
and has a different outcome of either winning, losing, or winning a different type of way. And your reward will change as well, depending on who you send as well. So there's a lot of choosing who goes about it. And actually, the other thing they've added is a time limit as well. Not a time limit, time it takes to do these missions. So
Like real life game.
yeah, so each one will actually take longer or less time, depending on who you choose, which is actually
And how fitting they are for the quest.
yeah. So actually, like one person could take 10 minutes, while another could take up to 30 minutes to do the same mission.
But that doesn't mean the one that takes 9 minutes is gonna actually win.
Do it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it better. So yeah, it's
And
always the option.
Sorry. No, continue.
Yeah, there's always the option of who you send out, and you might actually want them to do another one because at the position I am, I've currently got about like 20 side missions I could send them on, and I have to optimize which one do I want to do first, because when they do one mission, they're locked into that for the time limit. So if it's 10 minutes, I have to wait 10 minutes for them to finish this mission to send them to do something else. So it's definitely you have to optimize their time.
But I think, from what I heard is, even if you turn off the game, it might actually still...
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that last night. I sent them to do something which would have taken 3 hours. I turned it on today. It was done. I was like, yes.
Jackpot!
Like, people would get scared if they didn't know in like 3 hours. Oh my...
Yeah, no. Yeah, you don't actually have to wait the 3 hours in game. It's just
That
time
would
in
be
general.
a bit too much,
Well,
honestly.
Yeah, you can
Well,
just go make a
Assassin's
cup
Creed
of
tried
tea.
to do it, like actually say you have to wait half an hour in game.
Ooh. Yeah, so
Burn.
that's the difference. Yeah.
Can I ask my question?
Yes.
Obviously.
How is it with the relationships? Because I know in Origins you had like a camp, and in that camp you either all the characters had their
Enchantment!
yeah.
If you
Yeah, we-
haven't played Dragon Age 2, he comes back.
Yeah, we haven't actually, we kind of gently hit on it about relationships. The first one was about the giant hub, which was the campfire, which was in Origins. In the next one, Dragon Age 2, it was the house, I think. The house of
Not
the main
only the
character.
house, like each one of the characters had like an own area. Where
Yeah, they had their own area. Yeah. And now in Inquisition, you have. I guess this isn't really a spoiler considering it's already been shown. The first area is a kind of small village,
Oh, okay.
which is pretty cool, which is open world game, where you can walk in and out of it. And you can walk around to the areas. Someone will be in a house, someone else will be just standing by a campfire. You can go talk to them there, and then later on you move to a castle, which is quite a big castle actually, and then everyone else is just sitting around. Yeah, someone else is going to be in the inn. Someone else will actually be sitting in the library, which is pretty cool. So it's definitely the same idea. They've just kind of multi-layered it on different kind of ways. Instead of it just being this flat plane, which is just a campfire, there's now buildings, and it gives a bit more ambience, I guess, a bit more feel. Yeah. Which is nice. And relationships. Are you asking how many people you can sleep with?
No, that's not
Well,
what I'm
indirectly,
asking.
yeah.
I
but-
told you I was disturbed by that. No, I'm asking because I think, like, for me, it was great in the context of the story, because you had the characters with you and they would interact in a different way, and whether they like you or not, they agree more often with you and stuff like that. And I would miss that if I.
Oh no, you can still do that. They've made it less in your face, where you can sleep with everyone.
Good.
I will tell you, there was one where I tried to chase after one person, and then she told me she was actually gay. So I was shot down pretty hard on that.
Nice. Okay. Good. 'Cause
So that can happen.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to make a new character, which will be a female, and then do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get her. I will get her.
I will
by
change
any means.
genders.
I will change genders.
Change gender.
Yeah. So there is this option where some of them won't like you, and some that will, depending on your gender or even what race you are, I think.
Yeah.
Which is
yeah.
important, because this is the first time we'll actually let you choose different races. Because
Yes.
before you were human.
Well, you could in the first one.
In Origins,
What?
you could.
In Origins, you
Origins,
could
you
play
could
an
be
elf
an
as well.
Oh
Of
yeah.
course, and that you would be treated differently in the
Yes.
cities if you were an elf or something like that.
Yeah, I remember.
Ah,
Well,
I
now,
thought that was very cool too.
Yeah.
now you can also play as a Canary.
Yes, Kunari.
Which, if you haven't played Dragon Age 2, you wouldn't exactly know what
You
they
have
are.
no idea who they are.
They're
Yeah.
like goat people, but big and strong and fearless.
Sure.
Goat people. Why not? They had horns, is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to get at. And they were like this huge
and
mountain
likes
people.
his horns huge.
Yeah. And they don't have the best relationship with anybody, so I'm guessing, like, this guy that I looked at a little bit of gameplay, he was a Canary, and anywhere he would go, he'd be, like, criticized of his
Yeah.
race. You might be the Inquisitor, but you're a Canary still. I don't trust you.
Yeah. Which is surprising, because I'm playing an elf, and people like me because I say nice things. Say nice things, and people won't care what race you are. There we go.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
beautiful, Alex.
Yeah.
Charm of an elf.
Charm of it's the charm of the elves. Yeah, I do say nice
Yeah.
words. But yeah, it's really nice how they've allowed you to do that, playing different races, and how that affects your gameplay. Because people, even your allies, will talk to you differently as well when you're out and about. Because you can have other elves in your party, and they would discuss certain things that you wouldn't hear otherwise if you weren't an elf.
Okay.
So
I love
some really
stuff like
nice
that.
interactions
Oh, my.
on a
Yeah,
different level.
that sounds
It's
great.
pretty cool.
That sounds great.
So if you're interested in it, look out for it.
Okay, it comes out Friday.
It
It was a
came out last Friday.
Last
Came out last
Yeah,
Friday.
in Europe anyway.
Okay.
Again, this is one of the games where the US got it before us. They got it actually on Tuesday, the 18th.
Okay.
We only got it Friday, so it's a digital release game. How can you release it 2 different times?
it's not the first time
Just
it
like they
happened.
do it with movies.
But yeah, so, there's some issues, but that's mostly because it's buggy, because it's a PC game.
It's not like, that's it's a little bit of expected, like, to have a little bit of bugs, a few nitpicks, like they don't actually work, like you having to reload. I've heard that a couple of times. Something might not work, try to reload it. But like that's the beginning. It's not as insane as Assassin's Creed Unity was.
Well, I've had it crash a few times.
Well, the first patch isn't actually out.
Yes, that
They
is
said
true.
like it should be soon.
I'll be
Something like
watching
that.
out for them to refix anything or
Yeah,
patch it.
patch coming soon. You heard it here first.
Yep. Well, I can hope. BioWare's usually good on making sure their games work correctly, but it's also
At one
EA.
point. At one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you have anything else you want to say about the game, Andrew?
No, that's all the points that I could point without actually playing the game.
I was just like, ah.
Okay,
No, I'm
then-
pissed myself. But
I can talk about some other things because, as you said, as it's kind of similar to Assassin's Creed. Which one was it? Brotherhood, where you have an army, you have to bolster your force, your Inquisition, to basically go to war. I won't say to what because that's all spoilers and all that. But you have to build an army, so you have to go to different areas, recruit more people into your army, and actual certain missions won't. It's kind of a soft gate they've done to certain missions where you have to reach a certain army cap to go forwards into the next mission, which I guess one allows you to explore more, and two, it kind of gives you you should be this level to do this mission, which is what a lot of people trying to push towards when they're too low level and they realize they're going to do a big mission which actually is double their level, which is not a good idea.
well, I'm probably at that point like there's a lot of shit that I haven't checked out yet.
Yes.
Maybe turn left and go there.
That's definitely one of the interesting things. One of the other cool things they've done in this game, if everyone's probably seen the trailer, there's the breach, which is the main part of the story. This giant
You're
rift,
the leader.
this giant rift in the sky, which is throwing out demons into the world. This is the whole point of the game. This is the reason the Inquisition is made. You're the main character who's been given the power to close these gates. You see this actually on the front cover of the artwork there, which is pretty nice. I have someone asking me a question there.
From Gabby J05.
Gabe G. Hello, Gabe G. Question.
Can I play the game without anyone hating me? Like, can I get everyone 100% on my side? Ambience.
Ooh, that is a hard question. Well, if you're going to be like the non-biased person who's always in the middle, sure. I guess you can do it that way. There's definitely some issues.
Neutral.
Yeah, you have to be super neutral on everything. Because there is a part where if you played Dragon Age 2, I guess this is not a spoiler. It's how many years has it been now? 3 years.
Just
okay.
tell
Alright, it's 3 years now since Dragon Age 2, so I can tell you how it ends. In the end, the Templars and the Mages have a war with each other because the Mages don't like how they're being treated. And they just start a giant war between themselves. And in this game, you have to make the decision of who you want to side with. And you don't have to side with either of them, which I guess is going to be the 100% make everyone your friends option.
Or enemy.
Or enemy. Well, I doubt you can make them both your enemies, but
Well, they both hate you because you don't side with them. You're the champion.
that is true. So there, I guess I haven't tried that option yet.
No,
Try
but
every
yes.
single option. There you go, GovG. Try every single option available.
Save
You'll find the
frequently.
answer.
Reload.
Yeah. There is a quick save option, yeah, which is quite handy. But yeah, there's definitely not many games do that, which is important. But yeah, if
don't want you to save.
there is a certain options you have to choose, which can make people disagree with you. I guess is the better word, not to hate you, but disagree with you, because they have got the system where they can either greatly approve, slightly approve, the neutral, slightly disagree, strongly disagree. I've had only one time when I had someone strongly disagree with me.
What did you do?
Because you're such a nice
Would you like to
guy.
have sex with me?
I haven't been that honest. And
I strongly disagree.
Well,
Andrew.
you put it always like,
uh,
your eyes are like the moon. I like to look at them all day.
yeah. I told the
Would you like
mages
with me?
they should have their freedom, and for some reason people didn't like that answer that I gave. So
Oh, okay.
people, told me off.
Gabija just added he doesn't mind the disagreeing part as long as everyone fights for him.
Oh, you're asking if people will leave, which was one of the things that was in the other two games, actually. If people didn't like you enough, they would actually leave.
No, in Dragon Age 2, there was the part about if they were friends of yours, they had like one skill or passive, and then if they hated you, they had a different one, but they wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
They would leave if you like did a quest and made them leave, and you chose them to like, yeah, stay, protect, whatever, go do your whatever dream you had. Like they would leave like that, but not like them hating you would make them leave.
It wasn't one, I will say that. In one, they could leave you, but in this
I
one,
know, but
I don't believe anyone's left me as of yet. I don't believe anyone can, just because of how the story is. And it's definitely about a unity type of thing. It's definitely all about everyone coming together. So I can't see anyone leaving me for no reason. You can tell people to leave, is the other option. If you don't like them, you can if you want role play it. And if it's like, you're not agreeing with me, I want you to leave the Inquisition. And you just kick them out. That is
Okay, thanks,
obviously an
bye.
option. Yeah, you can do that if you want to role play that type of position. And, but most of the time, no one will just randomly leave you out of the blue, which is good, I guess. But yeah, relationships is definitely something they've improved in this game, which is really nice to see. And discussions, actually, it's actually the big thing they've done.
a lot more options, I guess.
Yeah, there's loads of options apparently in this game. And one thing I didn't touch on, as you've played 1 and 2, you have the option to bring across your options from the other two games into this, I don't think it's the final installment, but this third game, which is pretty nice. The way they've done it is they've made it called the Dragon's Keep. If anyone wants to look it up, it's somewhere. I'll find it if you want. I'll post it in later. That'll be fine. But basically, it's a really cool option system which will take all your decisions you've made in the previous games and will pour it into this game. And you actually start to see them while you play the game, which is really nice. Where you will see cameos from some of the characters that you've let live in the other games, or if you've made a really hard decision, you will see that appear as well in the game.
Okay.
That's really cool.
Yeah, Consequences is definitely something BioWare really like pushing.
Just like Telltale games.
Yeah, this is really look at
No, we're
that
not going back.
segue. It's
You know
amazing.
what to
Why
do
not?
is backtracking.
Backtracking.
Yeah.
Oh,
We've
backtracking.
gone from Dragon Age back to Assassin's Creed. We've
Yep.
gone back to Telltale's. Like, we don't have topics to go back to, so let's go back to the beginning. Hello, this is the secret level.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Jayla has linked it in the chat for me. There we go. Yeah, the Dragon Age Keep, which is pretty nice system they've done. So if you want to play it, you can do it there and put in your own special customized options for the other two games. Does anyone have any questions to ask me about it? Just to clarify
I'm
anything?
good.
I don't want you to spoil me anything else.
No, I won't spoil it. Don't worry.
So that's
Okay,
why I'm not.
moving
one to
on
do it.
then. No more
Oh, if
talk.
anyone wants to know if there is dragons, there is dragons. I will say.
Obviously, duh.
But yeah, you will see dragons quite often, and this is in the wild as well, which is pretty fun. As it is an open world game, you will probably see a dragon fly over your head. It's happened twice for me already, and I will say it is scary as balls. When you hear a dragon roar and suddenly fire comes out of the sky and does like half your health.
Maybe that's because you're a level 5 noob.
Well,
But
I did do
whatever.
it when I was like level 8 and it was level 12, but
Jay,
Yeah.
wants to talk
Same stuff.
about something.
yeah. It reminds me of
I
Skyrim. There we go.
just wanted to wrap up that topic. That's
Yeah.
all.
Hey, might have been going for a little bit too long. Moving on.
Hmm.
What's next?
Well, Alex is already talking, so he can just keep going.
I can keep on going. Thank you.
But-
Go.
Different topic, please.
So my talk is a little different. Mine's not about a game or anything. Well, it's about games.
Not
in
about a specific game.
Yeah. Recently, well, not recently, but over the last probably 10 years, I have noticed a trend of sameness, I guess, in game genres, where characters are pretty much copy and paste from other games. I'm probably going to point out a few later on, but Minamoto from Nintendo.
Wait.
So,
How did you say that?
Minamoto?
Minamoto?
Minamoto.
His name Miyamoto.
Miyamoto, yeah. From
Miyamoto.
Nintendo. Made a point about it where games had been a bit too samey. I can definitely agree on most of those things he pointed out, especially looking at the first-person shooter genre. We've got a glutton of.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Battlefield, and every other in between.
Happened.
So many. And at the moment, I'm just completely void of any
No,
interest
it
in any
is.
of them, which I imagine a few other people are,
Why did this happen?
which for me is a really downer. And
Can you say that again, the whole sentence? Because you kind of glitched out. The sound
did I?
was gone for a second.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
happened to
I was saying,
The examples again.
I was just pointing out examples, Call of Duty and Battlefield, being two really big, obvious games that keep on coming out year after year, and they're pretty much exactly the same as their predecessors. And at the moment, we just have a glutton of them, and I kind of want them to do something new, but I don't know how they're going to do anything new, just because the genre itself is just being overdone by so many times. I can't see any way forward, I guess, unless they completely reinvent it.
games.
For what it is. Because it's...
Reinvent games. It's not about the sameness. Like, yeah, everybody's gonna go with their own type or their own genres and whatnot. Yeah, and sometimes they're like a genre that's gonna be reborn or coming new, like zombies. They weren't here forever, and then boom, everybody wanted zombies, Walking Dead, whatnot.
Sure.
But it's like about what people want. You can't dictate what what games should be and should not be just because a couple people say, well, they look the same. Yeah, but people want it, and you're not gonna make something that people don't necessarily want it. Nintendo has figured out something that they could do and have been trying to do. Like, they bring the same games back and forth just to make a little bit of ends meet, so to say. And then they do this daring project, like the one about the Yoshi and whatnot, and the one with
What was that? I didn't hear about that.
like the entire world is made out of a yard, and Yoshi is made like a little plush doll, and it's eating the scene and whatnot. It's
You mean Kirby?
that one.
That was
that
Kirby's yarn, not Yoshi.
Never mind.
It was-
Yeah, it was Kirby.
Kirby's yarn.
Kirby except Yarn, yeah. That was a
I
different...
like Yoshi's Island, where you carry around Baby Mario and stuff.
Well, no, you're not. You don't have
Like-
Baby Mario. You just have
The-
balls of yarn.
The
following
thing
you.
for me is, I agree with you in the sense of that, of course, people want specific things. The thing is that they're not even trying to give a different option because, like we mentioned last time with, what was it, Dawngate? It was something that was barely marketed. It would have been a good game, in my opinion, but it wasn't given the chance because the publishers rather cut their losses than actually try out things from the business side. That's in my opinion the main problem. That from the business side, many things that could take off because people are interested in it, but they don't have an option to have it yet, aren't given the chance to take off because the risk to try it is too high.
Or
I think
those
actually
that
is
try
the
it
issue,
don't
yeah.
make it proper. Like
Yeah,
they have an intent, but they don't exactly know what they're looking at, so it doesn't actually come out like how people imagine it to be.
I think it's the publishers just being lax at the moment. They've settled down into their own kind of corner where they've taken over the market in that particular genre, and they're not going to experiment with anything. Where they're not going to push forwards with publishing any type of weird and wonderful game which could or could not make it. As you said, Dawngate was a good example into a genre which was only starting to grow, well, actually still is growing, and they didn't want to step out into it, which...
Out of their comfort zone into
step out of their comfort zone, yeah. Which, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Probably for making money, it's a good thing, but as the consumer, it's not really that good for us, is it? And there's probably more of us than them, which is...
What I think is what's happening a lot is that when you look at all the indie games and everything that's coming up, and that doing the games that we played as children, creating games like that has become fairly easy. Like, there's a lot of indie games coming, and all the innovative stuff lands there somehow. There's great stuff there, but it doesn't have the graphics, it doesn't have the newest technologies and everything. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know, if you look at Minecraft, I mean, Minecraft is already old if you look at it that way, but it was very innovative, and it worked because someone Notch believed in his dream and in realizing that dream, and he gathered a community, and he created this game. I understand the big companies that they say, okay, this works. Like it's like making a sequel to Madagascar. Okay, this movie was awesome. Everyone loved it. Let's make another one. Like, and then there's a third, and now there's one about penguins, about the penguins of Madagascar. Why not? Because it works. The concept works. People will go to see it. Maybe not as many as the first one, but we can be sure that people will watch it.
If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem. It started with the movies, with all the sequel milking, to go back to that.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite example in that case is The Matrix. The first movie was amazing,
Sure.
and then they were like, hey, that was so good, let's try to get some more money out of that. And then they made a second, and they made a third, and in my opinion, they got worse and worse.
I thought the third was alright.
And that happened over, like, The Matrix was released in 1999. And movies started doing that a lot in the 5 to 10 years after. And about 5 years after, games started catching on to that. They were like, hey, the first game was so popular and everyone loved it so much, why not make a sequel? Because then we don't actually have to invent new things, we just have to give a new storyline, a little bit of changed mechanics, boom, we got a new game. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I would rather wait longer for a new game and have something completely new and completely fascinating that captivates me over again, instead of going back into the same thing over and over and over again.
People don't want that, because if you look at the release of Diablo 3, people were outraged. The votings on Amazon in Germany, they gave it, I think, 1.5 stars. And all these votings that were so bad were right after the release. And they were all complaining how it couldn't compete with Diablo 2. All of them. I read through them because I was like, why is this game rated so bad? And many of the stars later, like a year later, they would give them 4 or 5 stars and would say it's a great game, it's fun to play. But they weren't those weren't the people that waited 10 years for this game to come out, and those weren't the people that expected it to be exactly as awesome as they remember Diablo 2
Not
was.
as awesome, exactly the same.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. You
maybe,
like
but I think you always have both parties, people that want exactly the same but with a little better graphic, and people that want something new, something different. And I think Diablo 3 created something new, but still had a lot of the feel of Diablo 2.
it was still Diablo, but
Yeah.
different.
It was different, but many players that came from Diablo 2 couldn't accept the new stuff. So I think companies that have like Call of Duty, it works, and people would be outraged. Players might be outraged if they changed something, because they want what they know, they want what they feel comfortable with. They want small changes, tiny changes that they might have criticized in the previous game, but they don't want a different game. They want exactly the same. Well, might be.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that
that's correct.
that demographic definitely exists and definitely is a big part of statistics. I absolutely agree with that.
The big problem is it's not just one side or the other. It's both of them combined.
Yeah.
It's like if one of them would push to one of the other extremes, the other would have to follow in order to comply with it. Like if the game company would start making just the other games, at one point you would face it. It's like, yeah, it's good. It's a different game. It's actually good. I'm gonna play it. I don't have to just keep on to the old stuff. Or if the people just get sick of it and they just ask for a different one, it's gonna show in the company's sales and whatnot. So they're gonna try to go towards it. And that's why, like, the idea here is that we have to add a different side to pull on. And that would be new companies.
Yeah.
Take Star Citizen, for instance. They haven't made, like, the main creator, he was in the genre. But the actual company wasn't. They're new. They brought an idea. They didn't expect it to look at some point. They just had the vision. And they liked it. So they're pushing it forward because they want to see it finished. But if like in coming years, let's say Star Citizen makes it big, they have a lot of sales, they even make new updates and whatnot, and then they change, it's gonna be the same stuff. People are not gonna like it. It's not like Star Citizen doesn't have that. Why it's not that? Where's my stuff like that? Because they're expecting something from a company because they made it. They're used to something from it.
Yeah. I think what they're trying to do is they're focusing too much on their own main franchise. And what you're seeing is they're tacking on new things to their original franchise. Where you see they're too scared to, even if it's a different genre, they want to keep the same like main title, for example. I can't think of a perfect example right now, but instead of... Actually, I'm just going to do a really old one, Crash Bandicoot. Really old one. Where back on the PlayStation you had just Crash Bandicoot, and you had 1, and you had 2, and then you had Crash Bash, which was a party game, and then you had Crash Racing.
Yeah.
And it just gets crazier and crazier where they just want to just keep on adding to this franchise.
Milk
they know
the cow.
Milking the cow, where they just want people to keep buying this well-known franchise, and they don't want to put it out on its own as its own separate game, which it could very well do pretty well, but they just want to take the easy route, put it out there, put it under a name that's recognized, and bam, money.
Yeah.
Even though if it doesn't work.
I don't think that's such a bad thing. I mean, I would be very sad if Gearbox made a game that has like the name of Borderlands but didn't have the humor that
No, we're not talking about just changing a franchise, like making whole different games. Like, go away from the roots.
Okay.
Although Borderlands is a similar example, although they're keeping keeping it interesting. They're changing the genre from the first-person shooter that we know to the point and click.
Yeah,
but they're keeping the comedy, which is the the aesthetic of the games,
Yeah.
which everyone remembers. Yeah, the comedy aspect. Yeah. If you took that out and just put it as a point and click, yeah, that wouldn't make sense. But as you're keeping the characters and the comedy that people know, it's more of you understand the reason why they're doing this. But yeah, that's one of the examples. Yeah.
So that's the thing about the sameness of games. It's good or bad. Final thoughts: good or bad? Ambience.
It's always going to be bad until there's a good example. And as of yet, I haven't seen a good example of this happening. Actually, we just talked about it. Telltale's Borderlands is probably an example of following a franchise, but to a different genre.
Yeah.
Narek made a very good point. Jayla, do you want to?
Yeah, Narek just wrote in the chat that Quake have had loads of awesome multiplayer mods. Half-Life had some decent mods too. So what you can do if you're too scared to be creative and take a risk, make sure that people can easily mod it and create content for you.
But that doesn't.
Which is really good. Left 4 Dead was a mod. Team Fortress was a mod. So best example, I mean, look at Dota. Dota was originally a mod for Warcraft 3, which essentially turned into League of Legends, Heroes of New Earth, and Dota 2, which the first and the last are massive esports markets now.
Yeah.
So that is something, if you look at it from back till now, in long term, is a massive business model and money maker, essentially.
Well, you can't say that the ones who actually made the mod, there's the one who they're bringing the whole money now. It's just like it started at one point and it's building up itself.
If you consider where it came from and where it led to.
It's a great example would be Arma 2. Because sales up, I think, by 20% as soon as what was the mod called?
DayZ.
Yeah, exactly.
DayZ
as DayZ came out, as the mod came out, the sales for Arma 2 rose 20%, just because of
the problem is big developers won't do that, just because money.
Yeah.
But as you said, Dota was a mod.
Well, I wouldn't agree, because if you look at Skyrim, they have the workshop. You can.
Yeah, but
mod
Bethesda have
Skyrim
always allowed modding in all their games.
Yeah. Because they started with the model of open world. Why not actually make the world how you want it to be? Yeah. So going around circle again, Jayla. Sameness of games, good or bad?
For me personally, boring. Not bad, but boring. From the business side, good, because they make a lot of money and thus make more games. Yeah, it's what's it called in English? Two-edged sword?
Double-edged sword.
Double-edged, yeah, sorry. The German is a bit different.
Double-edged.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It like two sides of a coin. There's positives and negatives, and in general, I have to agree with Miyamoto that I would prefer if there were more different games out there, but I can also see the reality that the probability of them actually taking off and working well is difficult and hard to realize, and from a business side, very risky.
And make the actual maker of the games be scared of actually trying it again.
Yeah,
if the first one
exactly. From the business side, it is very risky. Definitely.
Okay, Lily. Sameness of games, good or bad?
I don't see it that way. I think there's a lot of creative content out there that we just don't see because it's not from the big companies, or because it's in mods, or because it's somewhere where you don't have that much money invested in it. And I understand the big companies, and I like that Borderlands is the same, in a sense that they add new stuff, but in general it sticks to the same kind of
Borderlands feel, even though they add new stuff.
I think the way you talked about Dragon Age, you're very happy that they changed a few things, but kept the general feel to it, and the general it's you were very happy
But
about
I'm-
Dragon Age Origins. You said, "Oh, Dragon Age 2 was great too,"
No,
and
no, no,
now
what
there's
I'm,
this
what
Dragon
I'm
Age.
saying about Dragon Age, the point of Dragon Age is more about the story and making up with the relationships. It's not actually about the combat. I never went to make it 100%. I never went there
No.
to like be the best core.
I'm not criticizing you. I'm
No,
just
what I'm
saying
saying is
that it's the
they
same
changed the
as
important
2.
part. They added to the story, which is what I was after. That's why I liked it.
Yeah.
Because the combat, like, they could have made a movie out of it. They're gonna make a movie about it, by the way.
Well, but the story in Dragon Age Origins was great too. It was, for me, it wasn't about the combat. It was about progressing in the story and getting to know the characters and how they react with each other. So it's the same. I think they kept that, and I was asking, did they keep that? Did they have that in the new Dragon Age? So it was something I was looking for. It was the sameness I was looking for to
Well,
decide
I haven't
would I
gotten
want
to the
to
part
play
where I
this
said if
game
it's good
or
or
not.
bad.
So I think it's a good thing because it's not. I mean, it's not gonna be the only thing they create. They're not only gonna create Dragon Age. What was Inquisition? They might make other games, but I think you are happy that they made Dragon Age Inquisition and not some other game that you might have
Well,
not liked. So
That's true
yeah,
as well, but
I say good.
maybe... Okay, so... You say good. In my opinion, it's... They could have... Like, it's good in a way that if you like... There's going to be fans of it, and they're going to want more of it. But at the same time, it's bad because it doesn't leave space to make something else that might actually be even better. Something that... God knows what. Call of Duty might have been the... Could have been a place of a storytelling franchise. God knows what. Point and click. They could have done better than Telltale's. We don't know. That's why it's a bad thing also. Because the unknown is unknown, so you don't know if it's good or bad. It's bad that they don't try it. So
That
I'm
I
gonna-
can agree on.
Exactly, that's what I'm
And
going
Alex?
towards. Oh, Alex said it first.
Alex said it first.
I already spoken my lines, so that's fine.
Okay. I don't call you saying good or bad.
I said it bad because they're not trying. But
Okay. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm
Yep.
agreeing on that, by the way. I understand, but it's bad they're not trying.
yeah. So
Mm.
we have reached the end of this episode.
Woo.
Would you like to say farewell to our dear viewers and listeners?
Oh, who wants to start?
No?
bye bye. See you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Because
We'll see you
this is
around. Thanks for
I
joining.
think we've confirmed to do bi-weekly now. So if you want to tune in again, it will be 2 weeks' time, which I don't have a calendar in front of me. Someone,
Or if you don't
First,
want to
that
bother
will be
your
the first-
head,
The 7th of
and she
December.
first.
the 7th, there we go, the 7th of December. Yes, there we go.
7th of December.
So yeah, if you want to tune in again and listen to us ramble on about stuff, you got a date. Book it in.
Or if you don't want to bother your head with that kind of stuff, you can follow us at Twitter at Secret Level Show, or on Facebook at The Secret Level Show, or check us on YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes for all that we've recorded. If you cannot make it, we understand. Just go listen to us on the bus, on the car. Just don't crash.
But you're missing
In the
out
car.
on us
Not
reacting
in the
to
car.
you.
Not in the
So you
car.
should tune in.
Yeah, but feel free to join us live so then we can actually interact with you. You can ask us questions live that are then going to be featured on the show.
Yeah, thank you for the people in the chat for asking a
Discuss
few
with
questions.
you and react. So we're really looking forward to seeing you live. If not, we're happy if you listen afterwards.
In a manly
And
way.
with that, we're going to say goodbye.
Thank you all for
Goodbye.
listening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.